It is 6:58 p.m. I'm beginning the recording for this session.
Works.
No, you have to start it.
Okay, ready?
Perfect.
Good evening. I call the January 11, 2022 regular board meeting at 7 p.m. today. Trustee Lafredo, will you lead us in the pledge?
Before we do that, we have to do the declaration. Pursuant to the governor's executive orders, this meeting will be held via audio and video conference to allow for both in-person and remote participation by the public body. Please note that by joining the meeting by video or audio conference, your name, image, or phone number may be visible in whole or in part to others participating in the meeting. This meeting is now being recorded. Thank you.
Dr. Levis?
Yes.
Okay. Rudy, would you like to do it?
Sure. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Do we have any public comments tonight, in person or through Zoom? Does anybody have any comments tonight, public?
We do the roll call.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I like skipping that. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Trustee Dobrow.
Present.
Trustee Kirby.
Present.
Trustee Lafredo.
Present.
Trustee Repa. Present. Supervisor Bobbin.
Present here.
We have a quorum.
Now, and do we have any public comments tonight?
Aye.
Anybody else? Okay, if not, we're going to go on to report. Do any of the trustees or clerk have a report tonight?
Yes, of note, the state's or the Attorney General's office, their OMA and FOIA portal has been opened. I will be emailing those details out to all of the trustees in this coming week.
Ticket now.
So we'll need to get those.
Wait.
Why?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. So
Cindy, could you mute yourself, please?
yes. Shush.
Thank you. As I was saying, the OMA FOIA portal is open. By law, all the trustees need to go through that training, just so you all understand what is and is not allowed during those meetings. I'll get all the details out to everybody. The registration and process is pretty quick and painless, though. Other than that, we've had a number of additional FOIAs. Those statistics have been updated on the website. Since May 17th, we've responded to almost 2,000 pages of documents in response to public requests. Also denied a few of them for being unduly burdensome, requests that exceeded 10,000 or more documents. That's all I have for tonight.
So thank you. I just want to update. Earlier today, I got an email from Swaco Textile Recycling Bin, and they're just looking for a location for us to put the bin that we approved last month. They were suggesting having it in the front of the township in the first parking lot. It's about, the size is 4 feet by 4 and 7 feet high. Where do you guys think we should have the bin? We can talk more about this later on, but I'm suggesting that we have it where we have our recycling bin already. Rudy's nodding his head. And this way, we're gonna have the back of the township for recycling. And people could drop their electronics off, people could drop their clothing, their shoes, anything that SWACO and the township is working together. It was just something that I have a contract that I have to sign, and I just wanted to make sure with what I'm thinking is all right with the board. And we could talk more about that later on, but that's just something that wasn't on the agenda. I just wanted to make sure that I had the opportunity to speak to everybody about that.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, and if not, can I have a motion to approve the reports as presented?
I'll motion to approve the reports as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Kirby.
Aye.
Trustee LaFredo.
Aye.
Trustee Repa. Aye. Trustee Dobro.
Aye.
Supervisor Baumann.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under new business, I'm gonna have Trustee Dobro present, our first presenter for the FFC presentation on responsible bidder ordinance.
Thank you, Supervisor Bowman. Steph Perez is our guest speaker today. He'll be talking about fair contracting and responsible bidding ordinances. Some townships have been doing this in DuPage, and Lake County actually has something on their books. And I think this is just a good practice, good government, ensuring that our bidding is done responsibly and by the people performing the duties, like the actual improvements and infrastructure stuff, professionally. And so I'm not the subject matter expert on this, but I was intrigued a little bit and reached out to Steph, encouraged him to come out and speak. And it is my goal that after hearing him speak, maybe at a later date or time in a different board meeting, we adopt, if it's something that seems up our alley, a responsible bidding ordinance. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Steph. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction, Michael. Good evening. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited. I was planning on being there in person, so Michael told me we're online, but it's okay. I can see everybody, and again, I'm really excited to be here, so thanks for having me. So my name is Steph Perez. I'm with the Indiana, Illinois, Iowa Foundation for Fair Contracting. We're a not-for-profit labor management organization. We were founded in 1999 for the betterment of the construction industry. And I've prepared a nice and quick PowerPoint presentation, and I promise I'll be quick. I won't keep you here all night, so bear with me. I'm going to get this on your screens. And
See if I can get you control, Steph. Bear with me.
okay, thank you.
That's not the one. Are you able to request sharing from your side?
Let's see. It gives me the option just to share, and then when I do it, it says there's an error displaying the content. Let me see if I can share my screen. Are you guys able to see this?
There you go.
Yep,
Okay, so we're gonna try this then.
good job.
I'm gonna challenge them again.
Okay, that didn't. There we go. Oh, here we are.
Too closer to see, that's all.
Okay, so I guess I'll begin with what is a responsible bid? What is responsible bidding? What is this practice of responsible bidding? Laws require state and local governments to award contracts to the lowest responsible bidder. Responsible is well defined by the Illinois Procurement Code, but that definition is only when it is only applicable when it comes to state government contracts. So if you get money from your motor fuel tax, or if you're getting some kind of state grant, then you have to abide by the state's responsible requirements. However, when in the Illinois Township Code, responsible isn't really well defined. Now, what does responsible mean? So the lowest bidder is not always a responsible bidder. Public bodies can choose a bidder other than the lowest bidder if the selection is in the public interest without fraud, unfair dealing, or favoritism, and there is a reasonable basis for not going with the lowest bidder. The lowest responsible bidder does not mean strictly the lowest dollar amount, but the lowest dollar amount bidder who is the most capable of performing the work in a satisfactory manner. I guess that brings us to the question of what is a responsible bidder ordinance or an RBO. Today's presentation focuses on responsible bidder standards, how they apply to the township, public works construction contracts. Local public bodies can adopt a responsible bidder ordinance to define what constitutes a responsible bidder. RBOs establish verifiable standards and objective criteria to ensure a public body is employing quality contractors. Now, the good question is, are RBOs legal? Public bodies have wide discretion in choosing the lowest responsible bidder. An expectation of winning a contract award does not afford the losing bidder due process. And as of right now, over 100 Illinois public bodies have adopted RBOs. Oh, I shared with Michael a little bit, last month, what is our FFC model RBO. It's kind of a draft ordinance that we send over to public bodies, sort of a suggestion, a template. And some of the key points in there that we would that you as the township or the public body would require contractors to submit with their bids. One of the key points is proof that the bidders are licensed to do business with the Illinois Secretary of State, that they're registered with the Illinois Department of Revenue and the Illinois Department of Employment Security. Contractors are to disclose any federal, state, or local tax liens or delinquencies in the last 5 years. They are to submit proof of workers' compensation insurance, submit a statement of compliance with the Illinois Prevailing Wage Act, provide a copy of proof that the contractor participates in a substance abuse prevention program. They also need to submit a statement that individuals who will perform the work on the project will be properly classified as employee or as an independent contractor. Contractors also need to submit proof of their professional or trade licenses and disclose any suspension or revocation of their licenses in the last 5 years. And another key point that our model RBO emphasizes is that contractors submit evidence of participation in apprenticeship and training programs that are approved by the United States Department of Labor for all crafts to be performed on the project. This is something that we really strongly believe in. This is really what ensures that you as a public body are getting the best contractors with the most skilled workers. Contractors that do participate in apprenticeship and training programs, their employees are constantly have access to up-to-date trainings to make sure that they are the most skilled and qualified contractors out there. Now, the next thing another key tenet that contractors would need to submit with their bids, just the name and experience of their project managers that are going to be assigned to the projects, and also submit proof that workers that they plan on having on the project have completed specialized OSHA training. Also, contractors are to submit evidence of surety coverage from a U.S. Department of Treasury approved provider. Provide a list of projects of similar size and scope that the bidders performed in the last 3 years. And the bidder must provide additional information or verification documents upon request of the public body. Now, if in the case that a bidder submits something incomplete, they are to comply with the submission requirements no later than the same day of the public bid opening. Submissions that are deemed inadequate, incomplete, or untimely may result in rejection of the bid. Now, when it comes to determining a responsible bidder, the public body reserves the right to utilize all information provided by the contractor, subcontractors, and any information obtained through its own independent verification. So when you, the public body, the township, are determining who the lowest responsible bidder is, you have the sole authority to determine whether the bidder is responsive and responsible. Now, when subcontractor requirements, that'll happen when a general contractor is awarded a project and they have, let's say, if they're building a new building, a general contractor would subcontract somebody to do, the paving, concrete, or they would subcontract out different portions of the project to subcontractors. Now, when they're submitting a bid, as part of this responsible bid ordinance, they would need to disclose all subcontractors and any independent contractors prior to commencing the work. Subcontractors are subject to the same requirements as the general contractors. Subcontractors would submit their documents to the general contractor and they would send it to you, the township. Payment can also be withheld from any subcontractor who fails to maintain responsibility status. And the public body may require the general contractor to remove a subcontractor from the job and replace it with a responsible contractor should there be any issues. Other provisions in the RBO, public records, all information that's submitted by a bidder and subcontractors pursuant to the responsible bidding ordinance, including certified payrolls and public records, are subject to the Illinois Freedom of Information Act. Now, if there's any kind of conflicting ordinance, if there's something really old on the books that conflicts with the RBO would prevail. And in the future, if you guys were to remove one part of the responsible bidder ordinance, the remaining provisions would still be in effect. Oh, and lastly, do RBOs increase costs? We think not. The Illinois Economic Policy Institute says that RBOs are protection plans for taxpayers. They provide the highest value at the lowest cost. There's no evidence that RBO provisions raise construction costs. Also, cost overruns caused by non-responsible contractors are common, well publicized, and can be devastating to public budgets. That concludes my slideshow. Does anybody have any questions? Is there anything I can clarify? I have a tendency of speaking a little too quickly, so forgive me.
I do have a question.
Yes, Trustee Dobro.
So we currently rely on Walt Hamilton. If the township were to do something with the responsible bidding ordinance, is it as simple as saying to Walt Hamilton, we've got responsible bidding ordinance on our books, and then they go out and they solicit proposals from people that adhere to the RBOs? What does it do for them, and what does it kind of do for us?
Well, that's an excellent question, Michael. So essentially, when you would pass your RBO, the first thing you do would be to let your architects or engineering firm know. They would just need to disclose the requirements to the contractor. So let's say if you guys are putting out your annual 2022 road program that I'm sure is coming up soon. In the advertisement for bids, in the plans, there would be a checklist. You need to submit the following documents to be considered for this bid. So that would be obviously your pricing, your scheduling, and then we would provide you guys a checklist, right? We need the proof of the apprenticeship program, proof that you're registered with the Illinois Secretary of State. Please provide, 3 references of the similar scope of work that you've done. So I would say it's the easiest thing would be that you would forward your RBO to your architect or engineering firm that's going to be managing the bids for you. And it's just as simple as letting the contractors know what they need to submit to be considered for a bid.
And then lastly, I mentioned Lake County does this. So anytime there's a project that Lake County does, they're adhering to this. So if we're working with them on a project, they're adhering to this. I
Yes.
also mentioned at the beginning that some townships did this in DuPage County. Which were those?
Yes, I worked closely with Naperville Township on passing one. Downers Grove Township just passed one as well. And I know there's a few more, but off the top of my head, but DuPage County also has one on the books. Cook County's got one, and the DuPage County Forest Reserve. So we've had some good momentum getting these passed.
I appreciate your time, and I have no more questions.
I thought
Okay.
this was great. It was a great reminder of the steps that we have to take as a township and to make sure that we're complying with all the rules and regulations. So I thought this was a great presentation and I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Does anybody else?
Yeah, Mr. Perez, question for you.
Yes.
If you decided to pursue this and move forward, what would be the next steps for Avon Township to take?
Well, I can send over our model RBO. We can I'd be happy to sit down with any staffer or if you guys have a township attorney and need a little bit of help of drafting or basically taking our template and adopting it to your township ordinance book. I'd be happy to help with that, or our attorneys can help with the drafting. We do have one generalized template, but I don't anticipate it's that difficult to be able to get that specialized for your specific township code. I will leave my contact. I have information. I'm going to put that in the comments right here. And anybody would love to reach out to me, please do.
Also, hi, pardon me.
Yes, this is, I'm sorry, I want to introduce Jody Fraley. She's
That's okay.
she's our regional manager over at the IIFFC. Jody, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hi, thanks for having us tonight. I also wanted to add that if you're interested in learning more, Steph and I can meet with anybody at any time. We are going to leave probably a copy of this PowerPoint to you guys and a copy of the model RBO that we use. But at any time, we can have our attorneys meet with your attorneys or engineering staff. But in addition to that, even if, like, let's say everything's done and you pass the ordinance, and to make it simpler just to go from there, we can assist in providing a checklist. So it's easy for whoever's accepting the bids and doing the bid openings to know exactly what they're looking for, in what order, an easy checklist for them to go through. And that checklist will also be included in or built into all of your bid advertisements and bid requirements. So it's all very straightforward. It's just objective criteria that every contractor needs to meet. And sometimes that weeds out any contractor ahead of time. So you don't even have to worry about going through the process of, booting anybody out because they don't meet it. A lot of times some contractors look and say, hey, I don't meet that, so I'm not going to even bid. So, but at any rate, we're absolutely just here to help. This is just like an insurance policy to make sure all of your projects are done by, skilled workers, and your taxpayer money is being spent wisely, and the work is getting done on time and in budget. So we're here to help. Any questions you have, or we're happy to meet at any time.
Again,
No,
I'll you guys.
Sorry, Michelle.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I beg your pardon. I don't think we heard the last part, Supervisor.
Oh, I said we'll be reaching out to you for more information on that.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for your time. If you guys don't have any more questions, I think we're just going to pop off and we'll let you guys continue to the rest of your agenda.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Now, we have another presentation. tonight. We have a benefit partners group. This will be talking about our health insurance. Is Russell on the line? I'm not sure who's presenting tonight.
Hi, this is Jake Carlson. I'm with Benefit Partners Group. I work closely with Russell. I'm one of the benefits consultants here. And so I'm prepared to walk through the renewal presentation, and I can get started right now. Okay, can everyone see my screen okay?
Now I
We'll move up a little bit.
Let me get my mask.
I can zoom in a little bit for you here. We've also provided a copy of this presentation via PDF. If anybody wants to dig into the numbers in a little bit more detail. Just a little background on our firm. I'm with Benefit Partners Group. We're an employee benefits brokerage and consulting firm. We're out of Libertyville. We work with the majority of the townships in Lake County. We work with many public entities and organizations in the Chicagoland area that offer employee benefits to their workforce. So the purpose of today's meeting is to go through the details of the health insurance renewal. The health insurance right now is with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. What we do on an annual basis is go out to market, shop all the top rated national health insurance carriers. There's nobody that we can't approach on your behalf. So we go out to everybody, and I'll be going through the details of the current plans, the renewal, just so you have an idea of what that looks like, as well as comparable plans in the market, just to give you an idea of where things stand. So I'll get started right away. We're currently with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, and we have 12 employees currently enrolled on the plan. There are multiple plan options that are available to the employees. We have 8 employees, or we have 12 employees on HMO plans. These are 2 different HMOs. And then we have 1 employee on a PPO plan option. The HMO plan is the base plan, and employees have the ability to buy up or pay an additional cost to participate in the PPO plan if that's what they want. This year, we're looking at an 8.1% renewal increase with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. I do want to note that Avon Township, because Avon Township has less than 50 employees on payroll, you're part of the small group regulated market space by the Affordable Care Act. And what that means is the rates that we pay for our insurance, those are based on employee age and zip code alone. So these rates cannot be manipulated or negotiated in any way. They're filed with the state by each insurance carrier at the beginning of each quarter. So this 8% increase that we're seeing it's in line with trend increases right now. We're seeing anywhere between 8 to 12% renewal increases this year. The way that the plan is set up now is it's age rated, meaning that the monthly premium that's billed for a specific employee is based on their age. That's one of 2 ways that the plan can be rated. Another option is a composite rated plan, which means that they look at overall demographics and then they issue a blended rate for each plan. So there's one rate for employees, there's one rate for employee plus spouse, employee plus children, and family. Not necessarily recommending you make a change, but I did want to just bring this to your attention. If we shift to composite rating as opposed to age rating, there is some additional savings that are available. So that would not have any impact to the plan designs, the benefits, the networks. Really, all it would do is blend the premium costs for some additional savings to the township. The one thing I should point out if we do make this change is there is a base plan that the employees can participate in. It's very low cost to them. They pay an additional cost if they want to buy up to one of the more expensive plans. Should we move to this composite rating structure, our younger employees are going to be forced to pay a little bit more to buy up to a better, richer plan design. And our older employees will, in effect, pay a little bit less to buy up to a plan design, because we'd be leveling the playing field. The rates would no longer be based on individual ages. They would be blended at the beginning of each plan year as of March 1st. And so when Avon Township hires an employee, regardless of the age, you know exactly what you're going to pay for that employee's insurance, because it's locked in for the year. As opposed to what we're doing today, which is the rate is based on the age of the employee at the time of enrollment. So that is one option that we can choose to change this year, which is to move to composite rating. And if we decided to do that, we'd be looking at closer to a 6% increase and an 8% increase. We also went out to Humana and United Healthcare. Humana is more expensive than our current plan and more expensive than the renewal offered by Blue Cross for comparable plan designs. So we're not recommending making that switch. We also went to United Healthcare, which offers a broad network here in Illinois. They have PPO and HMO plans. United Healthcare is a lot more expensive as well. So Blue Cross remains the most competitive carrier in the market. You see Aetna listed down here. They declined to offer a proposal this year. It's due to industry. Aetna has a partially self-funded product these days, and they have not opened this self-funded product up to public entities or municipalities. So that's why we see declines from Aetna, Humana, and United Healthcare for what they call their level funded products. They're partially self-funded. You may be wondering, where's Cigna? Where's Trustmark? We don't qualify for Cigna or Trustmark based on enrollment. Both of those carriers require at least 25 employees enrolled. And so that's why you don't see them listed here. So this is our market snapshot. We just want to let you know, we do this each and every year. We go out to market, we take a look at your current plans, your renewals, and the closest matching plans at various top-rated national health insurance carriers, just to make sure we have the best plans available for employees at the lowest possible cost. And Blue Cross is the company to be with right now. They are still the most competitive carrier in the marketplace for Avon Township. I'm going to move on now to the renewal plan overview. And so I'm going to go through the 3 plans that we have enrollment in. There are 6 plans that were made available to the employees last year, and there was a base plan that Avon Township would cover a certain percentage of. Employees were able to select one of the other plans if they wanted to, and if the plan was more expensive than the base plan, they would pay the additional cost via payroll deduction. So we have 3 plans with enrollment, and these are the 3 that we're looking at, and this is what's making up our renewal increase. The first plan listed all the way over here on the left is a PPO plan. It's a 2-tiered PPO plan, which means employees have the nationwide broad network access with Blue Cross Blue Shield, includes almost every hospital and doctor in the state of Illinois, and many providers nationwide. With this plan specifically, the employees are incentivized to use Advocate or Northwestern providers. And if they use those providers, they have a lower deductible and lower out-of-pocket costs. However, they're not restricted to those medical groups. They can go to any provider that they want. Should they go outside of Advocate or Northwestern, say to a North Shore, Northwest Community, they have a slightly higher deductible. The deductible in Tier 1 is $750, and the deductible in Tier 2 is $1,750. In Tier 1, Blue Cross is paying 80% of the cost after you've met your deductible for hospital stays, surgeries, CT scans, MRIs. In Tier 2, they're paying 70%. So you can see the employees are incentivized to use those certain medical groups for lower out-of-pocket costs, but they're not required to do so. That helps keep plan costs down, gives the employees the ability to save money without restricting them to certain medical groups or providers. They can still go wherever they want. The only changes to this plan this year are the out-of-pocket maximums are increasing. It's $6,250 for individuals in Tier 1, and it's $8,000 for individuals in Tier 2. That's inclusive of the deductible, meaning once you've met your deductible, Blue Cross is paying either 80 or 70% of the cost. This plan has first dollar copays. So when you go to the doctor, when you go to the specialist, when you're picking up a prescription, when you're going to an urgent care facility, you're just paying a copay. Those things aren't subject to deductible. You're paying $40 at the doctor, $60 at the specialist, $10 or $20 to pick up generic medications, $50 or $100 to pick up brand names, $250 or $350 to pick up your specialty medications, which are the most expensive drugs. So deductibles are staying the same. Out-of-pocket maximums are increasing slightly. Remember, these are standardized plan designs, so we don't have the ability to prevent these benefit changes from occurring. Blue Cross on an annual basis makes changes to their plans and issues renewal increases. So basically what's happening here is we're seeing a slight increase in cost along with some benefit modifications that help mitigate those increases. So that's your PPO plan. All employees have the ability to participate in this plan. Right now it's set up as a buy-up, so employees pay a little bit extra via their paycheck should they want to participate in the PPO. The majority of our enrollment sits in this middle plan here, which is the Blue Cross Blue Shield HMO plan. This is the largest HMO network in the state of Illinois. With this specific HMO plan, you do need to select a primary care physician. You'll go to them for all of your medical needs. If you need to see a specialist, they write you a written referral to see one. That's a big difference between HMO and PPO. PPO, you can move freely throughout the network. HMO, everything runs through your primary care physician. The great thing about the HMO is it has no deductible. So very limited out-of-pocket costs for employees on this plan. It's also the largest HMO network in the state of Illinois. It includes all the major popular medical groups like Advocate and North Shore. Typically, you select an Advocate doctor and you need to see a specialist, they're going to refer you to somebody in the Advocate network. So instead of having a deductible that you need to satisfy when you stay in the hospital, when you get a surgery or some sort of expensive test, there is no deductible. You pay a flat copay amount and then you're covered at 100% for that specific service. Same with going to the emergency room. This plan also has first dollar copay. So you go to the urgent care facility, you'll pay a $45 copay. When you go to the doctor, you just pay a $10 copay. If you're referred to a specialist, you'll pay the specialist a $45 copay. You have a prescription drug card included on this plan as well. And it's a very similar 6-tier prescription drug card. The first 2 tiers are your generics. The second 2 tiers are your brand names. And the last 2 tiers, tiers 5 and 6, are your specialty medications. Generics are 0 or 10. Brand names are 50 or 100. And then specialty meds are 150 or 250. Your annual out-of-pocket maximum is $1,500 on this plan, meaning an individual employee is going to spend no more than $1,500 out of pocket for copays, hospital stays, surgeries, prescription drugs. Once they've met that $1,500 in accumulation, they're covered at 100% for the rest of the calendar year. Now, the HMO plan, you do have to stay in network and you do need to go through your primary care physician, but as long as you have a doctor that you know and trust, this plan works great. And I think that's why we see the majority of the employees have enrolled in this plan. Now, just over to the right, we have another HMO plan. It's the same network. It's the Blue Precision HMO, which is their large statewide HMO network. This plan has a $2,500 deductible instead of no deductible. This is actually our base plan. Employees buy up, they pay a little extra to participate in one of the other plans. So the plan works very similar, but this one has a deductible attached to it, and it has a lower coinsurance level. It's 70% coinsurance after you've met the deductible, as opposed to 100% coinsurance on the middle HMO plan with no deductible. So you can see this plan is a lower premium, but you could have higher out-of-pocket costs when using this plan if you have some expensive services like spending a few days in the hospital getting some sort of surgery. It's a $2,500 deductible. You do have copays at the doctor, at the specialist, at urgent care. You have that 6-tier prescription drug card. It mirrors the PPO prescription drug card. Your annual out-of-pocket maximum here is $85.50. That includes the $2,500 deductible. So that's an overview of the 3 plans we currently have enrollment in. As I mentioned, the majority of the employees are enrolled in that middle plan. But we do have 3 employees on the plan on the right, and then we have 1 employee that has selected the PPO plan. So now I'll move over to the next page where it shows just a detailed overview of the renewal costs. And again, I know that this is difficult to see, especially if you're watching, virtually from across a room. So this is available in PDF should anyone want to dive into it in detail. But as you can see, we have one employee overlisted here in the PPO plan. This is de-identified, by the way, so we don't have employee names listed here. But these are the individual premiums that make up the plan currently. So we have a current rates, then we have a renewal rate. Remember, these rates are based on age. And then we have a composite renewal rate. Composite is that blended rate. It's what we can choose to move to at renewal time that will slightly reduce our annual premium. Then we have this plan in the middle, the HMO plan. You can see we have a variety of employees enrolled. Some are enrolled by themselves. Some have a child on the plan. Others have family members on the plan, spouse and children. And then we have the plan all the way over to the right, which is a $2,500 deductible base plan. And we have 3 employees enrolled there. They all have some sort of family member on the plan. You can see the premiums are wildly different. And that is because we have employees of different ages. This is the way the plan has been set up historically. So employees are used to this. So I'm not strongly recommending we switch this. I'm just throwing this out there as an option for consideration. So we have our current costs, $16,526 per month. We have our proposed renewal cost, should we make no changes, $17,864 a month. And then we have our composite renewal, which is that ability to blend the rates. And that would equate to a $17,452 monthly cost. So it's essentially going to save us $5,000 annually, should we make that change. I also want to note that we have the ability to make plan design changes at renewal time to mitigate the cost of the increase. We can shift around the deductibles. We can look at smaller networks. Many times there's the ability to just slot in a plan with a slightly higher deductible or a slightly higher out-of-pocket maximum that would have significant impact to the rates. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to do that this year. Just for example, we looked at keeping the no deductible HMO plan with a higher out-of-pocket maximum, almost tripling it. And then we looked at the PPO plan moving up to a $1,500, $3,250 deductible as opposed to the $750, $1,750. It saved less than 1% on total premium making those changes. It would be a significant shift in cost responsibility to the employees' out-of-pocket expenses at the doctor, at the hospital, and it would not equate in significant premium savings for the township. To reduce costs significantly from where we're at, it's going to require dramatic benefit changes, significantly smaller networks, excluding teaching hospitals, dramatically increasing the HMO deductible. So I just want to let you know out front, that's why we're not going through plan design alternates right now, because there were no easy plan design alternates that made sense. There would be significant benefit drawbacks for employees. I understand that, Avon Township, you're a municipality, you have loyal employees, they're used to their plans with Blue Cross, they're used to their low out-of-pocket costs. You're kind of benchmarked in line with other municipalities locally. So we're not proposing any significant benefit changes. We're looking at an 8% health insurance renewal if we make no changes. We're looking at a 5.6% renewal if we blend the rates. So that's where we're at right now with the health insurance. We do have a couple other core lines of coverage that are included here. And so I want to make sure we touch on those as well. The renewal date is aligned with the health insurance renewal date. This page that we're looking at here is our basic life insurance that we provide. All full-time employees are provided this benefit. It's paid for by the township. There is no change in cost. We also have a voluntary life insurance plan, which gives the employees the ability to purchase additional life insurance, pay for that life insurance through their payroll, and they don't have to go through the traditional underwriting process, which includes blood draw, urine sample. Just to be clear, voluntary life insurance doesn't cost the township anything, but it's another benefit option for the employees, which makes it easy for them to obtain a small amount of life insurance, no questions asked. There's no change to that plan as well. That plan is age rated. The costs increase every 5 years. You can see there's a table here listed. So should we have an employee that's turning 40 years old or 55 years old this year, they'll see a change in cost. But there is no change to the rates per thousand. So say you're turning 33 to 34, you're not going to see any change in rates. So this is our life insurance picture. We're providing a $25,000 benefit to all employees, and that's paid for by the township, and also giving them the ability to purchase additional life insurance on top of the $25,000 if they want it, and they pay for that through their paycheck. The next plan that we're looking at here is the dental insurance. Dental insurance is with Delta Dental. They have the largest networks in the state of Illinois. We offer their PPO plan and their HMO plan. Very similar to a medical PPO or HMO scenario. The HMO plan is a more affordable plan option for the employees. They have to select a primary care dentist to participate in the HMO plan, and it's a slightly smaller network. But if your dentist participates in the HMO, it's a great deal. The monthly premium is $16.67. Our PPO plan gives you the ability to use both of Delta Dental's in-network providers, their PPO and their Premier network. Also out-of-network coverage if you happen to go to a dentist that doesn't accept insurance. They'll still pay a portion of your costs. There's no changes to the dental pricing this year. Both the PPO and the dental HMO plan are remaining flat, no change to costs. We are now looking at the vision insurance. The vision insurance is with Delta Dental, but it uses iMed's Select network. So Delta Dental is sending the invoicing, but iMed is the network that Delta Dental is using. So what the employees know is that they have access to all the iMed providers, which are LensCrafters, Pearl Vision, Target Optical, as well as many independent vision providers and online providers as well. With this plan, employees have access to an annual eye exam for a $10 copay. They have a $130 allowance towards the cost of frames. They have a $100 allowance that they can use towards contact lenses. They can get an eye exam once a year, lenses or contacts once a year, and frames once every 2 years. There's no change to costs on the vision plan either. This plan is staying flat, no renewal increase, and this plan is super affordable. It's $5.55 a month for an employee. So as long as you're using the benefits, this plan should pay for itself. I do want to go back to the dental insurance really quick because I did skip past this, but just so everybody has an idea of what the dental insurance includes, each covered family member has access to 2 free cleanings each year. They're covered at 100% on both the PPO and the HMO plan. So that's the cleanings, the exams, the x-rays, polishing your teeth. And then you have access to basic and major procedures if you need them. Basic procedures are your fillings, your deep cleanings. Major procedures are like your crowns and your inlays. There is an orthodontic benefit on both plans as well. The way the PPO plan works is the insurance company is paying a percentage of the cost up to $1,500. They're also paying a percentage of the cost for any basic or major work you need done. With the HMO plan, employees are paying a flat copay amount based on the services that they're getting done. Both plans are very comparable. It really just depends on where your dentist participates. Would lead you to select one plan or the other. A lot of times you'll find that a dentist participates in the PPO network, but not the HMO. In that case, you'd want to take the PPO to maximize your benefit. So that's an overview of the 2 dental plans. That is a wrap on the presentation. There's a couple value-added programs that come along with the insurance. I won't spend too much time on this because I know you guys still have some things to go through, but I wanted to highlight a couple items. Any employee in the Blue Cross Blue Shield plan has access to a mobile app where they can track their deductible out-of-pocket spending. They have a copy of their ID card right on this app. They can estimate the cost of an MRI at a hospital versus a freestanding facility, help them save money. Anyone that's enrolled in a PPO plan has access to MD Live, which is a virtual visits feature. It's similar to Teladoc. Speak with a doctor over the phone 24/7. This is unfortunately not included on the HMO plan. It's possible they change this at some time in the future, but Blue Cross doesn't currently include it. However, folks on the HMO do have the ability to have a telephonic consultation with their provider if their provider allows it, and Blue Cross will pay that claim as if they saw that provider in person. So that's something that's included with their plan. There's also a discount program provided by Blue Cross Blue Shield, different wellness related discounts that employees can participate in. There is a fitness program available for the employees. There's 4 different levels that they can enroll in. Gives them access to a nationwide network of gyms. This is totally optional. They can participate in it if they want to. They're not required to. They can earn points through Blue Cross's wellness programs, and you don't need to be enrolled in the fitness program to earn these points, although that can help you build up your points. The points can be redeemed in their online gift shop for different fitness related merchandise, gift cards to Amazon, things of that nature. So we have held employee meetings in the past after the renewal has been finalized, just to make employees aware of their plan options and the cool little things that come along with their plans. So this is something we would feature at that meeting. Should we not hold a meeting, we'll still be providing an employee education document with details on all the plans, and this type of thing would be included there. The Delta Dental PPO plan includes a carryover feature, meaning that employees that don't use all of their annual benefit can roll over an unused portion of that annual maximum year over year. So the thought process is you go in for 2 cleanings, you don't need any fillings. Then the next year you go in and you need a crown and a root canal. You have some extra money there on your annual benefit maximum to help pay for those services. So that's not included in all plans, but that is included in your plan. There's also a 2% discount for offering their vision product, which is done with the iMed network. And so we're getting that 2% discount as well. And then, of course, Delta Dental offers a mobile app just like Blue Cross Blue Shield with many of the same features. Copies of your claims, copies of your ID cards. We recommend employees download this just so they have their plan information handy when they need it. Last item. Principal provides a couple value-added benefits as well. Of course, they have their mobile app. Included with the life insurance is something they call their Will and Legal Documents Center. It is a totally free service online. Employees can set up a will and they can designate what would happen to their property should they pass away. You'll typically pay a lawyer to set this up for you, or you need to go through an estate planning process, which is going to require the employees to spend some sort of money. So if you haven't done that, and this is something you want to set up, anyone can participate in this at no cost. You can also designate healthcare power of attorney, durable power of attorney. Say something should happen to you, you're no longer able to make medical or financial decisions for yourself. You can appoint somebody who would do that on your behalf. You could get that document notarized. It's a completely legal document, the will and the powers of attorney. So this is just something cool that Principal provides to any employees that are covered on their group life insurance, which all of the full-time Avon Township employees are covered. So everyone has access to this benefit. There's also some identity theft resources that they provide. This is not at the level of a Norton LifeLock per se, but this will provide them with some resources, online written literature about how they can, protect their finances and their identity. So these things are available to the employees through Principal. They can participate in this. There's also a travel assistance program that Principal provides, and that's through AXA. Should the employee be traveling either domestically or internationally, say they lose their passport, they lose their luggage, there is a recommended political evacuation by the United States for the country that they've decided to travel to. AXA is available 24/7 to help the employee through these situations. So they're not necessarily going to pay for everything, but they are going to help coordinate assistance for the employee should they be caught out of town in some sort of pinch. So this is something that's included with the plan as well. I know there's not a whole lot of traveling happening these days, like there was in the past, given the pandemic we're living through. But this is something that's included, and I wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of it. So that is a wrap on my presentation. The insurance renewals, the increases we're looking at, the value-added materials or value-added plans are included with the insurance. I'm wondering, does anybody have any questions?
Two quick things.
Sure.
So just going over very quickly, employees can choose which plan they want and it comes out of their paycheck, right?
Correct.
So I was just looking at the comparisons between the composite and or the renewal and then the composite. And for the PPO, which with a lot of the employees are on, it is cheaper. The rise in cost is mostly from the PPO. So for most of the employees, the renewal would be cheaper than the composite, except for the PPO plan, which has a significant cost increase. So I think. So
So are you looking at, and excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is a question. I just want to make sure I'm following along. Are you looking at the plan code G506 OPT all the way on the left? That's the PPO plan you're speaking of?
yeah, the renewal versus composite between the HMO and the PPO there.
Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at this plan right up here in the top left. This is our PPO plan. You can see it says employee 1 in children listed there. We have 1 employee in the PPO plan currently. Their current plan is $19.50. Their renewal cost is $21.26. Should we make this change to composite rating, their cost is going to go down dramatically. And then we look at this HMO plan in the middle. This is where the majority of our employees are enrolled. If you look over at the composite renewal column and you compare that to the renewal column right next to it, you can see that employees, some of them are going to see costs increasing and others are going to see costs going down. And the same is true for the plan all the way over on the right. And then at the very bottom, these things are all totaled up. So what you're seeing here listed at the bottom are totals. So the PPO row here is only showing the total for 1 employee. We only have 1 employee in that plan. The $0 HMO row includes 8 employees. And then the 2,500 HMO row is our other 3 employees that are on that higher deductible HMO. So you should really focus on where it says employee 1, employee 2, employee 3. Take a look at the current cost and the renewal cost. Those are the first 2 columns. Those are our age rates. Should we shift to composite, you can see that we'll be bouncing all over the place. And the reason I want to point this out is because employees pay the additional costs if they buy up to this HMO plan. So you're going to have some employees that they really benefit from this. Their costs go down. The composite rate winds up lower than their specific rate for their specific age. Other employees, these are our younger employees. Rates are based on age. Younger aged people, Blue Cross is charging a lower premium for. This is the same across the board, pretty much with all insurance companies. Those younger folks are going to be required to pay a little bit more to buy up to that HMO plan. Essentially, their costs are going up. So what we're doing is shifting around all of the costs and providing some savings to the township overall. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you for going over that again.
Yeah, so we can certainly do that. You know, it could just be a dramatic impact to certain employees. Some employees will benefit. For others, it will be a drawback. So that's why sometimes it makes it difficult to switch to composite rating after you've had something in place for a while, like we've had with the age-rated plans. We don't have a whole ton of turnover, so we have employees that, you know, are used to their plan costs, used to their payroll deduction, and would see a more dramatic change this year should we decide to go the composite route. Whereas keep things the way they are, it's going to
lose some people are paying. Okay.
There are some other things you could do too, maybe to make this easier. Like if you wanted to realize the savings of moving to composite, but maybe soften the blow to the employees, you could look at, doing some sort of restructuring of employee contributions. There are a few different ways you could do that. We could work together with the finance team if that was something that you wanted to explore. But there's probably no way to completely avoid some employees being negatively impacted and others seeing a positive benefit of the reshifting around in costs.
Thank you.
Of course.
What I'm thinking is that the employees should probably watch your presentation to get a better understanding of what you talked about today besides the slides. I think it'll make it a little bit more logical sense for them. And I know the board is not making a decision today at all. And it's something for us to possibly go back and rewatch and listen and look at the slides before we make a decision. Does anybody else have any comments at all? I appreciate you coming out last minute. It was really good timing for us because it is a lot of information for us to absorb.
Yeah, of course. And one other thing I want to mention, we can host an employee meeting to go through the plan details with folks, with the employees. And we would do that. They would see a very similar presentation, but they wouldn't see this exact presentation. For example, they wouldn't see this page. They would see the age banded rates for each of the 3 plans and what the plans would cost them based on their age and their family members. Or they would see the blended rates and we would show them what their payroll deduction would be based on the tier that they enroll in, either employee plus spouse, employee plus children, family. So 2 different ways that they can see it. We're definitely going to prepare an employee facing presentation so they see the benefit plan options. They know exactly what it costs prior to enrolling. If you wanted to kind of put the feelers out there to the employees to see what they would think about maybe shifting to this composite rating structure, you can certainly do that. Although I should warn you that you'll likely have some employees that are very excited about doing it and other employees that don't want to see it happen, and maybe some that don't feel very strongly one way or another. It could just be getting a lot of decision makers involved. So of course, you know your employees best, and if you want to run this past them, you can. But typically, with the other townships we work with, like the board would make the final decision on which way you're going, and then we would work together with you to put together the employee-facing materials once the final decisions have been made, so they can make their selections from there. But totally at your discretion.
But generally, if you go to the composite, it is the younger employees that are going to see an increase versus the older employees, which would see less, correct?
Correct. And this isn't always true, but we do sometimes see that the younger employees are earning a little bit less just because they have less years of service. It would be really this 1 year that you make the change that there would be a large impact. And then kind of everybody would resituate from there. So should we make this change, it's only something we have to make once, and we would only make once. Going forward, then we look at an 8% or a 5% renewal increase. That's going to be pretty equitably distributed between each of the employees. So we won't see dramatic cost shifting on a year-to-year basis. We would only see it this one time in making the change. And it's a couple $100 one way or another. So it could be very significant to an employee, either a significant benefit or a significant drawback.
At a glance, if I'm following and keeping up, maybe a composite buy or some sort of blended with the HMO deductible, but I feel like we're going to need to get some more eyes on this. Do we have your contact information if we individually want to reach out to you?
Yeah, you have my contact information. We've worked with Anne Marie in the past on payroll deductions. And of course, we'll work together once a decision has been made by the board with whichever team members are assigned to this. So we would typically schedule a meeting, prepare the employee-facing documents. You'd have an opportunity to review before we met with the employees. Should you have any other questions about this you want to discuss in detail, we're here all the time. We're in Libertyville. We're open Monday through Friday, business hours. And we are your broker. This is what we're here for, to be an advocate for you, to show you all of the options, to talk you through everything good and bad. So if there's an additional conversation that wants to be, had about this, either one or multiple, happy to do so. My name's Jake, and you're welcome to call at any time, and I can walk you through it. Also, Russell Wareeye, he's the president of the company, and he could walk you through these details as well. Him and I have reviewed this together in detail with our marketing team. Blue Cross is the most competitive. It makes sense to renew with them, probably to keep the same plans that you have. Really, the big decision this year is going to be, do we switch to composite rating to save a little bit more, or do we keep things the way that they are? And we can discuss that in further detail whenever you'd like.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay. So I'll be in touch with you and Russell about this. So thank you for coming.
That sounds great. Is that Supervisor Bauman?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, very nice to meet you. And yeah, feel free to give me a call. We could go through it in more detail. You have a copy of the PDF too, if anyone wants to review the finances. I know that the figures were probably difficult to read.
Have a wonderful night.
You too. Take care. Thanks so much. Bye.
For the board's edification, a copy of those numbers and everything have been forwarded to you tonight. So you'll have the actual documents to print or view at your own particular size.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. That's the only way I was able to follow it. I really appreciate you sending that out. Thank you, Crystal.
Yes, thank you also.
Okay, let's go on.
All right, so I think that's.
And then I'm gonna help the department. It's all kind of under. Yeah, we haven't changed anything, okay. So number 2, approval of minutes as presented. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes, the December 14th? I can't talk. What? Yeah, approve the December 14th. Oh, through the taxation hearing, yeah. I know you're getting a lot of here now.
Go ahead and take both of them as a single motion.
Okay. A and B.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept both the through the taxation, the minutes and the general.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee LaFredo.
Aye.
Trustee Dobro.
Aye.
Trustee Repa. Aye. Trustee Kirby. Supervisor Bowman.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 3, approval of monthly bills as presented, prepaid bills and outstanding bills. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Kirby.
Aye.
Trustee LaFredo.
Aye.
Trustee Dobro.
Aye.
Trustee Repa.
Aye.
Supervisor Bowman.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 4, discussion of possible action related to building improvements at Beaches Hall. Earlier, I think it's this week, time blends together. I sent you all some sample pricing and possible ways of making the sound a little bit more digestible when people are in the room. And I reached out to Trustee LaFredo for his opinion on the documents that I sent the board. Jeff, do you have anything to say about your opinion or the best way for us to move forward?
So from what I was looking at, the price doesn't seem bad, but it'd be nice to have another bidder or two take a look at it, just to make sure that we're getting something of good quality for that price.
Okay. And you were talking, when I was talking to you, you were thinking it's better to go with a company that installs the sound.
Yes, a professional installer to do it as opposed to having, some of us do it. Nothing against, our crew back there at Bob's Building Supply, but that's not really their wheelhouse. If I had to, roll the dice on that, I think he would agree with me. And then anybody in the office doing it, we're asking them to do stuff that's not really in their wheelhouse. It'll take longer, and it might not be exactly what we're looking for, exactly what we were buying into. Whereas opposed, we have the professionals come in and do it. Like the person said in the bid, they have a specific place to get those decibels down and to stop the bouncing. So and then we can, with other bidders, possibly find some other options that may or may not work better for us. That was just my thought.
Yeah, but I just wanted to have a clarification. I would refer to bid as like anybody who was going to do this, but there's a threshold at which we need to do formal bidding process, and we're not at the threshold for a formal bidding process, correct?
No, it's much more than that.
So,
Less.
Well,
Yeah, we're way below that.
Yeah.
we're way below. So I just want to clarify that we're using the bidding term not in the truest sense of our legal responsibilities. So we
Correct.
have the right to be able to ask other people without going out with formal bidding and, aligned with what we've already talked about at the earlier.
I agree, and I think talking to you moving forward now, that I kind of know more what we're looking into, having it done professionally. So when we do have somebody come out and talk to me, myself and my staff, a little better understanding, we will get a couple more bids or pricing.
Couple more prices.
Some more pricing, and then I'll get back to everybody where we stand. And I know I believe we approved it last month.
Yes.
To have it done. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll have some new pricing for you, and then we can make a decision at the next board meeting.
My only thing is I'd like to see something that matches our township colors, and or vibrant and not a ugly color.
Wow.
You don't like beige? What's wrong with beige? A little bit of taupe here and there. It's really soothing.
Something that's, nice and vibrant that illuminates the room, not, beige, not, something that doesn't look good. That's the only thing.
We may not go with the company that I sent you,
Right.
but there were color, like little swatches. So would you like to, if the board would like to, go back and just look at those swatches and send me your top 4? And, we can go from there, but I know Rudy is looking for bright colors.
Yes. It's
I'm a
very,
fan of black and gold.
Not need to judge on colors. I will trust you to judge on colors.
Okay. But I have Rudy's input, okay.
vibrant,
Vibrant.
inviting,
The
vibrant.
marketing person in me agrees that we need to have the Avon palette or branding colors. So blue, green, and white.
Blue, green, and red.
Okay. I have that marked down. I think you have an opinion, Jeannie. You don't think so. They have an opinion.
I think they just don't want pink.
I love pink. My iPad color is pink.
There you go.
I like pink. I like purple. I like a lot of colors, but I do. Not all jokes
Okay,
aside. I do
We're
think
gonna have another time when we can discuss color palettes.
Yes.
I don't want to be part of that discussion.
Okay, we know where they lie. We know where
They
they
make a decision.
It's serious though for him,
Good. I think as long as it's not a dull color, we're fine. So,
That's all.
let's move on.
As long as it's not beige, is what you're saying.
Yes, yes.
Not the color of my office. Number 5, discussion and possible action related to the 2022 calendar holiday year. And I know I was talking to Crystal too, for us to stay in line with the Lake County calendar holidays. What calendar is it? It is in 5.
So my only comment on that is that the county does an extensive amount of work with their different employee resource groups and everything else to identify potentially culturally relevant holidays that we might otherwise overlook. Vet that through the state's approved holidays and all the rest of that. So if it's on the county's list, it's probably something that would be above board for us to adopt. But it's up to this board to make their decision as to what they feel is appropriate.
And I know Juneteenth was a new holiday, a new state holiday that we did not have on the calendar last year. So right now, we have Martin Luther King, President's Day, Good Friday, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, day after Thanksgiving Day, Christmas holiday, and then if we add Juneteenth. That would be our tentative board approval for the supervisor's office. I know, Chris, are you on? Bob, do you have different holidays?
I don't have that in front of me, Michelle, I'm sorry. It sounds about right. I think we have, I don't think we have Christmas Eve in there. I don't know if you guys do as well.
We do not. Again,
Yeah.
our holidays don't have to match exactly. I'm just trying to make sure.
And we currently don't have that Juneteenth, but I know that's a state holiday and that's up to you guys.
Chris on?
No, he's not.
No, okay.
Well, yeah, it shows him as a guest.
Oh, it shows me as a guest.
Yep.
How about discussion with the board? How do you feel about the holidays?
Do we have Christmas Eve on?
Yeah, Christmas Eve is on.
Okay.
Well,
Since
not
when
on.
is Christmas
not
Eve a
on-
holiday?
Not on the supervisors.
Christmas Eve is, Christmas is on Sunday, so Christmas Eve is on Saturday. So that's why it's not on there.
So Bob, you said that you want to honor Christmas Eve, correct? I see it now. Okay.
We have in the past, I think we eliminated one holiday for it. I don't, if it was, yeah, again, I don't have mine in front of me. I don't know if it was a President's Day or if it was, some other holiday that what everybody decided they would prefer to have Christmas Eve off when we did a trade. So,
In 2022, Christmas Eve is on a Saturday. Christmas Day is on a Sunday, and legally, the observation of Christmas Day, because it's on a Sunday, is a Monday. And that's the 26th, and that's why it says.
All right, so it's the Monday and the Friday.
Yeah.
No,
No, we don't have the Friday.
No Friday.
No Friday.
That's Saturday, the supervisor's office.
Saturday. Okay, got it.
Saturday, it's Christmas Eve and Saturday. We're not-
I may have missed this in the notes. I apologize if I did, but I think state holiday is also election day.
I don't think we've ever had that, to be honest with you.
I think the law, I think they may have passed a new law for this year, 22, making Illinois a state holiday election day. I'm trying to look that up on my phone. I didn't catch that on.
That would be interesting.
But that'd be a busy day.
According to I just pulled something up on my phone. New law makes election day a holiday in Illinois. Mark election day Tuesday, November 8th, 22 is another state holiday to the calendar for schools to be closed. So I don't know if that impacts what we're discussing, but just throwing that out there.
That's just
That's
cool.
school, that's school.
Okay, gotcha.
They're closing the schools because a number of schools across the state are also polling places.
Yes,
Gotcha.
It's really easy for them to close those facilities.
that's right.
Like the county clerk's office could not take election day off.
Right, of course. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, the supervisor's office, pretty busy that day, just because we have a bunch of, So, for the supervisor's office, we want to make a motion to approve the office holidays.
A motion.
There's a second. So we're just
Second,
any more discussion?
For clarity's sake, we are including June 20th for Juneteenth observed.
yes.
Are we including December 23rd for Christmas Eve observed?
Yes. I say no.
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 Just being clear on the motion, that's all.
Yeah, I say no, that the reason why that's observed at the state level is because of union contract.
Okay, so we have
So
a
as
second.
presented.
So roll call.
Trustee Gilbert,
Aye.
trustee LaFredo,
Aye.
Trustee Kirby?
Aye.
Trustee Repa?
Aye.
Supervisor Bowman?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, number 6, can I have a motion to transfer resolution for town fund and assessors division?
I, yes, I will make that motion, and it's the office in here. I move resolution 22 RSO 1.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Dobrowd?
Aye.
Trustee LaFredo?
Nay.
Trustee Kirby?
Aye.
Trustee Repa?
Aye.
Supervisor Bowman?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
Number 7, discussion and possible action related to legal expenses. I know this was trustee Dobrowd reached out to me on this one. Want to take the lead?
Yes, thank you. We've been doing this for about 8 months now. Certainly seems like a lot longer. And we've definitely gotten through some tough transitions, but I think we're really doing great and have some momentum. And I was thinking as we talk about budgets and campaign on fiscal responsibility, we should look for opportunities to maybe cut some of our legal costs and possibly explore new options. And start engaging in conversations to see what's out there and learn more about ways that we might be able to save and save taxpayer dollars. So I would just like to empower our supervisor and us as a board and direct us to maybe go out and learn more about what could be out there and talk about possible new legal representation. Take that feedback and present it to the board or group collectively and see maybe next meeting or another meeting and just really get a survey of the market and look for those cost savings. So I appreciate letting me talk about this and put it on the agenda.
I like the fact, I mean, we've talked round and round about this, and I also like the fact that you directed the supervisor to do some investigation and present it to the board, and I would mirror that same sentiment.
I concur.
I appreciate it because I agree that we do, legal is one of our biggest expenses. And we have been around for 8 months. We are a lot stronger board and we understand what we need to do to get the work done. So I will present next month the different options that we have that we could talk about. And if anybody else has.
Well, I just wanted to add, I mean, I did a review of the bills for this month, and I did say this at the finance committee meeting as well. I think our attorneys are actually being very forward-thinking. There were a number of times that they did not charge us for their legal fees, and they did not do the standard fee that we have with them. And I appreciate that because I think they also understand that we have been struggling with the amount of legal bills that we have been forced, and I say that specifically, we have been forced to adhere to, given the problems that we were given. But now we've been able to make some headway on that, and I think that it is very well taken, but I do appreciate our current attorney's efforts to help us with regards to those bills.
And another option too is we may not need an attorney at every meeting, depending on what we have going on. So that's a possible another way of saving some money every month. When we're looking at the agenda, we could see, is there something that we really need an attorney for? So there's multiple ways of us to save money. And if you have suggestions, please let me know, call me or email me individually and we could talk offline about it too.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but if we collect some information, we can always agree to meet as a committee of the whole to discuss some of those ideas too.
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, thank you for.
There's nothing wrong with us talking and, and moving forward for the upcoming year. That's the whole point of putting this budget together and starting off the year right. So thank you. Any more discussion on? Nope. Okay, let's move on. Next one. Number 8, transfer resolution for town fund.
I have a question about, I mean, there is no amounts in there, and this did come up at the finance committee as well. Right now, we have a balance of what, $6, is it, Crystal?
That's correct.
$6 in our legal fees. So I understand that there's going to be legal fees, but we don't have any recommendation on where to transfer any money, and we don't know how much money to transfer. So, like, for instance, they're suggesting in this to transfer from the health insurance to the legal services. And all it says is that 10%. Did anybody discuss the amount for that?
No, do you have a,
I'm gonna take a quick glance really quick. I don't know that there was a recommended number.
It just says the said transfers are less than 10% of the total fund.
we're probably gonna need,
We're gonna need, I'm sorry, but I think we're gonna need some direction to make sure we're not over the 10% of the total funds, especially since I can't imagine we are, but we need to be very careful.
So the resolution was provided by Anne Marie. I don't see a recommended number from her, only a note to another resolution needs to be approved as there's only $6 left in the legal budget after the January invoices are approved. Please complete the attached resolution with the number and amount to transfer. But there was no advice provided from our bookkeeper either.
Yeah.
But it was included here for potential action.
could I call her?
Yeah, I'm feeling the pressure of it because she is a person that doesn't want to not be able to pay a bill. I get that. So, but how much, Crystal, you've done this before. What is a rational amount that we can transfer that definitely would keep us under the 10%?
$30,000 would keep us under 10%.
Okay,
So the rational number could be much smaller than that. But
Okay, so then let me.
but there's no urgency because there's no bill pending.
There's no bill pending, so we could.
until we get the bill?
We can table indefinitely.
But then, but the bill comes later though, sometimes the bill comes after.
So we wouldn't pay the bill until the next board meeting. So we could pass this resolution, and I guess what I would convey to Anne Marie is we don't have any problem with transferring money to cover the bill. We just want to be very fiscally responsible and know how much we need to transfer, and that make sure we follow our legal responsibilities to do so. And we will do that at the next board meeting prior to paying the bill.
Could we just not do anything with this until we get the bill?
Well, until we have to pay the bill. I'm sure we'll get a bill because we will pay it at the next meeting. So.
Yeah, so we can just hold off and then okay it then.
$6.
Yeah, it's at $6. I mean, if we're not getting a fee from the bank account, which the amount of money we have in there, we shouldn't be getting a fee or we need a new bank. We just sit on it and wait until we know the amount. And so then we're done with this. That's how I see it. So I'm kind of with you on that, Jeannie, if that's how I took it, because that's what it sounded like on my end.
To ease Anne Marie's tension regarding her obsessive behavior about paying the bills. And I use that in the fondest voice possible.
Understood.
And honestly, she cannot pay the bill until this board approves the bill. The board can't approve the bill until they receive it at the next meeting.
Right.
So there's no action that needs to be taken tonight.
So basically, our legal has to give us a bill earlier.
No, they don't have to give it.
No, I don't give it, but I'm saying if otherwise we're gonna be a month behind every month.
We'll receive a bill for the month of January, sometime in February, in accordance with the regular billing schedule, and then we can pay it.
Yeah, I like that.
She wouldn't pay it before we approved it anyways. Yeah, so we're all on the same page.
We're all good.
I'm just trying to assure Anne Marie that we understand.
Okay.
We will communicate to her appropriately that the board understands the need and will authorize an amount once an amount is known.
Yeah.
It'll probably come tomorrow morning.
It'll come.
I think it did last month. I think it came was right after.
For all you know, you're gonna get a $6 bill.
Yeah, we have no.
That'd be great, right?
That is that.
Okay, so let's keep on going.
That's it.
That's it.
So,
All right.
we move to,
Adjourn.
adjourn. I still.
And wait, yeah, so my only other public comment is, I'm gonna,
Public comment.
yeah. The public comment is that I'm gonna be moving the Swaco textile recycling bin closer to, officially to the electronic bin. We should be having that in the next few weeks. And it's gonna be great for us to start advertising, the new program, and I'll be sending you information on how you can get the word out about our new recycling programs. And let the community know.
Great.
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
Just seems long to make us in 6 o'clock.
Yes.
I'll
The
second
finance
that.
meeting. Thank you guys for coming tonight, and thank you for our community members that stayed on. Thank you, Lynn. Anybody else?
Because we are on a remote call for this particular one, I'm going to ask, is there any objection to adjournment at 8:29 PM?
No objections.
Hearing none, the motion is passed by unanimous consent.
Thank you, Clark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I think there's some stuff to read that I haven't thought of.
And that's 4 in the morning.